Hey, how you doing tonight? I'm solo tonight. Maureen is not going to be here. I just want to welcome everybody to the show. Um, we got two good guests tonight. I'm going to have them introduce themselves because you know how I am introducing people. I'm not good at it. So here, I'm going to start with Leah.
Hey.
Okay.
Yep. My name is Leitreanna, and I'm a psychic medium and founder of Family Spirit Supernatural LLC. You can see my work on Repossessed on Hulu, Apple TV, and Disney Plus. And I also teach at Piedmont Technical College. And Gwen Johns is below me, and she is a case manager, and she kind of keeps us all together. She does everything she can. She's a budding psychic medium herself. She's got wonderful gifts, but she's got great investigation skills. That's something fantastic. Yeah.
That's very. You got the skills, girl.
Got the skills, baby girl.
Skills.
My mentor here is helping me. So, and Matt.
Yeah, he'll be coming around in a second.
Okay.
Where are you located, Gwen?
I am in actually Lawrence, South Carolina.
Yes, Lawrence, South. South Carolina girls in the house.
Oh yes, just a little bit from Lee.
Yep, we're not far from each other.
Not far.
Yeah. So I mean, when I go down south, I don't know. Last time I don't think I've been through South Carolina. When I drove to Florida once or twice, but I've never been to South Carolina. So I mean, you guys got a lot of good stuff down there anyway. So
yeah, we do. We got good food. Come just try the fried chicken and see if you can live without it. You won't.
Yeah, well, up here I got the pasta and spaghettis and all that stuff.
Oh, I know it. You got to say your shirt.
Yeah,
you see your shirt. To say your shirt. Say it for me.
About it, eh?
Isn't it amazing?
I love it.
So I mean, I was on your show not too long ago, Leah.
Yes, you were, and I loved every second.
Yeah, I mean, we had a good time. I mean, we came on and we just talked, and we just talked about everything,
Yes, we did.
Well, the first question is always going to be, how did you start with all this? Did you start at a young age? Did you start, as you grew up? I know people now that's starting in the paranormal. They're like in their 40s and stuff like that.
Yep. It takes about that long for most people to start in the paranormal, because by that time it's, I don't really care what people think. I'm going to think for myself, and they get curious and they've got a little money to put into the equipment, and it's a lot of fun. But for me, it went really a little different. Well, a lot different. My grandma Jenny, her name is Virginia Scott. She was Virginia Bernardo, still Scott. So she was married twice, and Mama Jenny investigated the paranormal along with her mother. And I suspect that it goes even further back than that. And I know on my grandfather's side, Mom is related to the Great Purple Witch of the Philippines. So that type of energy flow is something that's kind of ancestral. But my grandmother would get me aside and talk to me about what I could expect to happen and what I may see and how to respond to that. So when it happened, I went to her and said, you know what you said, it happened. And then she walked me through it step by step. And she was with Mom and me. And you know what? When my daughter came along and she started having the paranormal things happen to her, I took my last $12 and filled up my tank and drove to my mom.
Yeah.
I was like, ah, when it was
Because
me, I was all brave and everything was all fine. But when
Mhm.
it came to being a mom to a psychic child, that's when I kind of, oh my God, oh my God,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Mama Jenny was waiting on me and I had the support I needed. Mama Jenny and Mom had my back. So I'm trying to create that for other people too.
And you
Mhm.
are. You
Yeah.
are.
I,
Thank
my
you.
son, at like the age of 4, he started seeing things, and he used to come out of his room and say stuff. When they're young, they start, and he comes out of his room and says, "There's a lady in my room." I'm like, "Who's in your room?" And I go, and then I knew he had the abilities and stuff. He doesn't do nothing with it, but he used to go investigating with me for years. But when, like you said, when it comes to your kid, you're like, let's help him. It's like, as a kid, we didn't have the help when we started seeing things. Nobody talked to us about it.
I
So,
know what you mean.
yeah.
Mhm.
I'm spoiled.
Hmm.
I'm
You
spoiled.
are. You are.
I wrote a book about it, Anthony. It's called
Mhm.
Family Spirit: Four
Mhm.
Generations of
I
the
like that.
Supernatural.
Yeah.
And oh yeah, you were right beside me at
Mhm.
MassCon, and it's the story of my family and the very
Mhm.
first paranormal incident I had. Now Gwen, she came into the paranormal. See, she's a retired paramedic, so
Mm.
she's seen some stuff.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I've seen stuff that
Yes.
I couldn't tell people I saw too. So
Mhm.
Uh-huh. And so
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
we connected, and she wanted to take the class. And
Mhm.
as we got to know each other, and as I saw her gifts, I also saw how she's handled things in the past, being a
Mhm.
paramedic. And I just said, she's got a special gift. She's had something going along in her life for a very long time, and she's got family in spirit guiding her along.
yes, I do.
And I thought, okay, she's on a very wonderful, blessed spiritual journey.
Mhm. Mhm.
And we're helping people. Like we're doing an investigation this Sunday for a guy that he felt like he was haunted, and he didn't know what kind of intention that haunting had. And as it turns out, it's something very special, and there's a lot of healing coming for everybody.
That's awesome. I mean, that's what we do it for. To help.
Absolutely.
To help. Um, I used to do more private residence when I was younger, and I try to help as much as possible. But I've been pulling from that lately too. Right after you know uh, 2020 over there, with after the pandemic and everything, so we pulled from it for a little bit. But I still help people that need it. I try to. You know.
Yeah, well, that's all of us, man.
Hmm.
We're all trying to help people, and everybody at some point, has lost someone they love,
Hmm.
or someone they knew, and we all fear what's coming next. I mean, what happens to us?
Yeah, I know.
And when we can get confirmation that the eternal soul exists and nothing happens to us, as far as, we don't just dissolve and we're in a drop of rain, or, we're in this
Hmm.
or that, we we are more than that, and there are other
Yeah.
dimensions. And you can
Hmm.
prove a lot of this is not new age stuff, it's scientific, a lot of this.
Some of the stuff, yeah, the stuff that's coming out, and the equipment we're starting to use is more scientific also.
Yep.
Some of the equipment, and Staticom is one of the things.
Staticom has my
So
mind blown.
yeah.
Gwen, do you remember when we were in class and I showed you Staticom and how you could just hear the voices, the words coming out in full sentences?
Yes.
I went to that
Hmm.
website. I would
Yes, we
love
did.
to have a piece, like a small device that could do something similar, because they have
Yeah.
to set up a full, it's
The-
it's basically almost like a command center. They've got a big screen television, well, monitor, whatever, and it's rounded, and they're running 2 or 3 different programs at a time, and they've got
yeah, a
this
bunch of different
big,
programs. Yeah.
big speakers that have
And
woofers to it, so you can hear the bass, because that
mhm.
makes it more
They
precise.
took the radio out of it altogether now. It's just static,
Hmm.
It's just
and
static.
it's a generator that's forms just static, which is awesome. And like,
I mean,
I'm always with them. I'm gonna be with them on Saturday also.
they're
While I'm
precious
doing it
people, aren't
for Ron
they?
and Lotus. Yeah, I'm pretty much with them a lot, and
Um,
so it's starting. Hopefully, a couple of years from now, they'll actually be on the market. for
Ooh,
them.
nice.
I'm hoping
I mean,
so.
but they're still in a period of time that they got to get it just right.
It's going to take time to shuffle it about, but
Hmm.
I'm confident.
Hmm.
I'm very confident that we will. Now, Gwen, when I was talking
Uh-huh.
to Lords about Staticom,
Yes.
she was explaining that basically it's just static running, so therefore there should be no voices coming out.
Hmm.
Why do you have full sentences? It's just
Yeah,
static rumbling, sort of.
communication.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
It's,
I
it's,
want
it,
to see that
Ron's
in
mother
person.
came out a couple of times. My mother came out on it. We just did a show. We just did a thing a couple of weeks ago at the Patchett House, and I don't know if you know Richard Michelle. He's a psychic. He does just what do you
I've
call it,
heard of
spirit
him. I
art
would
stuff.
love to meet him.
Yeah, he's excellent. He's a great person, and his book just came out too. How to do
Oh,
with the psychic spirit art stuff.
oh, spirit
Yeah,
art too. Oh,
yeah. So he does.
wow.
He actually does a reading. As he's doing a reading, he draws the person that that the spirit of the person that's giving talking to him,
That's
and
awesome.
Oh,
and then he shows the person, and they're like, "That's them." And then they pull a picture, and they said exactly. So we did this Patriot House like 2 weeks ago, or weeks ago. It just gets one big blur. It's like every weekend you're doing something, and he my cousin, first time she ever came out investigating, she came and she was part of the guest that came. Because I found out she bought tickets for the show after I was, or doing it.
oh
Not the show, but
yeah.
the investigation. Because we gave her a tour of the house, and she sat down there, and she was not too far from me, and sitting there, and Richard's drawing something, and I was like, Richard, show that to my cousin. It looked just like my mother.
Oh,
Oh my God. So he
My
gets just
cousin
tapping
started
right
crying.
in.
She started crying. She goes, I didn't say. I just show that to my cousin, and she started crying like, you know. And then it was like on Staticom, the name Charlotte kept on coming up, and that's my cousin's daughter. And we asked,
So
so
the
we asked,
person
what
was
do you want to do?
asking about
Yeah,
Charlotte.
Charlotte. And so we asked, what do you want to do with the picture? Give it to Charlotte.
oh,
Came out, give it to Charlotte, and it just came out clear. Like, so of course her daughter got the picture, but I mean it was like the way it happened. He's drawing, and answers are coming out on Staticom, so it was pretty cool. It was
I
pretty cool
bet
how
that
that
was
worked.
one of the most powerful moments for
Yeah,
that
yeah,
person. Oh my gosh.
and it was awesome how it worked out like that, you know. But Gwen, so how'd you start?
let's see. Well, from childhood, I knew there was something, but my family was not into that.
Hmm.
I was always told, don't tell anybody, don't say anything. And then
Hmm.
the older I got and working at the hospital and on the ambulance, I saw stuff that I knew everybody else didn't see. I'd hear,
Yeah.
Isn't
I'd
that
hear
crazy?
stuff. Yeah. And I'm like, am I crazy? And then I thought, no,
Hmm.
you know what? I'm not crazy.
Hmm.
People would die and I would see them in a different way after they died, plus their body there, and that would be kind of crazy. But
Hmm.
um then I retired because of an injury, and I found Lee and Matt, and I finally got in their class. It took me about a year to get in the class. A little snafu with the school, but now I'm in and learning, and um honestly every day it seems like my skills grow. It does.
Hmm.
Hmm.
It
Yeah.
does. And me and
She's
Lee.
very open, and she takes direction, and she listens, and she's very intuitive about what you say.
Hmm.
And that makes a big difference. We actually did a guided meditation, and my mother saw her father, of whom she cannot remember that she ever saw with her real eyes.
Mhm.
And Gwen actually saw him as
I
well.
saw him. I did.
Wow.
I did. It was.
And my mother was thrilled. She described to my mother what he was wearing.
Yeah, he was wearing a white shirt and those flowy pants that people wear in the tropics, the beige ones, I guess. And
Oh
and
wow.
Yeah, we call her, Mama, like everybody. And she said, yes. I told her, I said, I saw him. I did. I saw him.
Oh, that's awesome.
Mm.
Yeah.
It's awesome when you clarify something like that. It's get the back and forth, and like she, it's a good moment because, like you said, you know, she didn't think she's going to see him again or hear from him and everything like that. So that's, you're giving somebody some kind of closure in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
My
awesome.
grandfather was in Normandy Beach. He was
Mm,
on Normandy Beach and he was shot in the chest. And he lived for a few years after.
hmm
He did remarry. My grandmother and grandfather divorced. He married a lady named Mary. I would love to find her. I'm sure she's passed now, but I
hmm
know I have cousins somewhere. But after he was in Normandy Beach, he didn't, he was on borrowed time after that.
Yeah, I had my uncle. He was in Normandy also. He was one of those. He drove those carriers that took the from the ships to the shore and
Yeah.
dropped it, and his got hit, and they were the family was getting letters from somebody like it was his, but it was somebody else's writing, and then they found out later on he went temporary blind.
Oh,
Oh, so somebody else was writing for him.
Yeah.
Oh,
And he survived. He survived the war after that, but he was
bless him.
his eyes weren't as good in but I mean he died of ripe old. Well, I don't know. I think it was in his 80s when he died, but it
wow.
was but yeah, it's something. How
That's beautiful.
It is.
Beautiful that this somebody was helping him out.
It
I've
yeah.
is.
seen some beautiful stories and heard beautiful stories. In fact, my
Mhm,
mother-in-law, something about her. She's my mother's stepmother, my husband's stepmother.
mhm.
She actually had the band for someone that was a POW. You know those
Oh, from the
bracelets.
'70s, yes. In the
Yeah.
'70s, they had those. Yes.
And she wore it, and she wore it, and she wore it, and she was working at the Pentagon when
Oh,
my husband's father was working at the Pentagon, and that's how they met. And the way that they got to the Pentagon was an interesting thing that actually had to do with my husband, who was 9 years old at the time. I'll have to tell you that another day. But they were at the Pentagon, and they just connected. And Carol was she was going to one of those meetings. She actually had a higher security clearance than Tom did, my father-in-law, and she was working as an administrator. And she had that bracelet on, and she was praying for him. And she said, "Lord, just bring him. Let me know
mhm.
he's okay. Let me know where he is if he's okay. Let him know he's with me." And she went downstairs to the like a reception thing.
Yeah.
He was standing there in the reception.
Oh,
Ooh,
wow.
They
wow.
finally got to meet, and she gave him his bracelet.
Oh,
That's
that
cool.
is awesome. Because I remember
Yeah.
when they came back, as they were getting off the plane, they were putting the names on the screen. So I knew people that had this bracelet also, and as they see the name on the screen, they took their bracelet off to know they were safe. The people, the POWs coming back.
See, that's prayer. That's the power of love and power
hmm
of prayer. And I'm just afraid that our country is not leaning towards that. I think we need to be sticking together and being more of a tribe, more of a community right now
That's
than
right.
ever before. I'm not exactly sure what's ahead of us, but I know that I've got my friends by me.
Yes.
And if I've got something to eat, they have something to eat.
That's
You
right.
know, if I have a coat, they've got a coat. And if the crap hits the fan, we'll make it through. All of us will.
Yeah.
We've
And
got a good group.
we do. I get chills talking about it. I prayed
I
for
do
a
too.
long
I've
time.
got them.
Yeah, I prayed for a long time for friends like this. And then I'll go to Massachusetts and make a whole nother set of friends up there, Anthony.
I know you.
Yeah. It was it, I was so
I
thrilled.
see you doing some events up there now too.
Yeah. And look who just came on with us. Okay, let me hold on. I got to get situated. The little dog that runs the house had to get in the right lap. Here's my
Hey,
husband, Matthew.
Hey,
hey, how
Matt.
you doing? Nice meeting you. How you doing? I'm doing good. I think you just muted yourself. You on?
When
Yeah,
I'm
here you go.
set off, it
There you go.
sure it is.
Yeah,
What do
I'm
you
doing good. How you doing? You doing good?
I'm doing good.
love that shirt? I'm gonna have to get one of those.
Matter of fact, I was on an investigation, and my friend Anthony from Parasite Paranormal comes up to me and goes, "I got something for you." I'm like, "What's that?" He hands me the shirt. It's actually a deli where he lives. It's
Oh,
actually
how
a deli.
cute. Oh,
Yeah.
I would eat there. Like I would make it a ritual in my life.
And
if-
he gets like the hero is like Italian hero. I think they call it the Godfather, whatever they do. So yeah, it was pretty cool that he gave me. And then I got somebody else gave me this. Jenny, she's on the audience. Jenny Colucci.
Hey, Jenny.
Hey, Jenny.
And it says, "How you doing?"
How you doing?
Yeah, Jenny.
My
She's
daughter
like,
married a
on
guy from
investigations. She's
Connecticut.
always like my partner on investigations and everything
Oh.
like that. So she's good people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
so
Jenny, I hope to meet you one day.
yeah. Jenny's good. You probably would like her. She's good
I'm
people.
sure I would.
She's
If
always
you
on
like her, I
investigation
know
with
I
us also.
would. Matt, when I
Yeah.
went to MassCon, Anthony, his table was about 2 or 3 down from me, and he does spirit art. When he goes to investigations,
Mhm.
he is the tool that he uses. He sees the spirit and then he draws
Mhm.
them out.
Oh, nice.
And I sent him a picture of a young lady that resembles a young child spirit that we're dealing with this weekend, and he's going to gaze into it and see if he can draw what he feels Carla looks like.
Nice. That's very cool.
That is. You know how I always say I wish I could draw because I
Yeah.
see them, but I don't know how to get it out.
I
Yeah.
wanted all of his drawings, Gwen. You should have
Oh.
seen it. We were looking for a sketch artist. Here he is.
Yeah, there he is.
It's funny because I've been drawing for years, stuff I've seen, because you can't get everything on camera.
Right.
So I
Right.
drew, but I never shared it. I never shared it with anybody. And I have hundreds and hundreds of pictures because, growing up when you just seen something back in the 70s, 80s, you just didn't show things. And so when I got I started drawing this, and like it was like last year, and Richard Michelle again, he talked me into showing my art at the Ritz Theater. That's where Jenny they run it over there. All kinds of shows. It's great. It's in South Jersey. But he actually asked me, he goes, well, "I'm going to do an art show here. You want to put your stuff out?"
Oh, awesome.
I said, "I guess so. Yeah, sure." So I walk up with like 100 pictures. I have them all over the theater because I've been doing it forever, and people seem to like it. So then I figured start doing it at the Paracons, and people always coming up to me and saying, "Oh, that's cool," and they ask me a question and give it a little answers and stuff like that on that, because I mean, when I put my equipment on there, people come up to me, they talk to you. If I put my pictures on there, it's like a whole conversation. It's great.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It kind of makes you wonder how many artists in history have been like that, have had those visions, and that's what we're seeing. You
Yeah.
know?
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's
and
pretty awesome.
I'll draw something, and people like, "That's what I seen," or that. Where'd you see that? And some pictures are disturbing. I really don't like to, Yeah, and I do like like in Penhurst, there was a little boy crying naked in the corner, and yeah. When it comes to children, that's where my,
It'll get you.
bothers me.
Yeah.
That's what bothers me
Children and
more.
old people. Oh, I'll go to
Mhm.
jail quick.
Yeah.
Gwen, I admire that you could do what you did as a paramedic because I know
Right.
you saw some stuff.
Yeah,
I had to put it in a little box and put it away.
yeah.
Know
And
exactly what
I'm
you mean.
still healing from it. Yes, Matt, you do. I know you do.
Yeah.
I would love if we ever get to meet Anthony in person, like if I'm with you, I would love for him to draw like my brother.
I would love that too.
Well,
Absolutely.
I would have to see people. I would have to see it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I mean,
we actually have an object from our class. Actually, it was one of those that just turned out to be an object that became a haunted object.
Mm-hmm.
And during class, it went on an investigation, and one of the entities that was there said, "Hey, I'd like to travel with you guys." And they said, "Okay, you can travel in this object with us." And it would be really awesome for you to like maybe hold some of these objects and see what kind of image you get and draw some of this. I mean, it's like having a police sketch artist with you.
Yes.
You know?
Isn't that what I just said? Oh my God. You know, we're there. We're there.
It's funny. Some of my pictures are really, really good. Like, like detail, and then some that's not as much detail. And I think that's how the spirit comes to me in those,
Yeah.
that type of.
Well, that's how they manifest too, right?
Yeah.
They sometimes it's not so strong.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I just started showing my stuff, and I figured now I started bringing a book with me. And I start drawing on investigations and stuff like that, because it's weird because I could go to investigation and see something and not draw it for months, and it's still in my head. It's like imprinted. I can't remember half the stuff I did yesterday, or but I could see something from 10 years ago and still remember what it looks like.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's weird. It's really weird.
So we're going to go to Vegas, and I'm going to show you a deck of cards. What I need you to do,
yeah,
draw out what you think
if I
is
go
still
to
there.
Vegas, I'm not much of a gambler, but honestly, if I went to Vegas, I'd probably just eat from the time I get there until I leave.
Yeah,
'Cause there's
watch all the shows.
Yeah, and the shows. Yes.
the shows.
Oh,
I went to Vegas once years ago. That's what I did. Eat and shows. You know, I played the one on Bandit. I won that a couple times, but nothing that make me retire or,
No. I've been a couple times, and when I was little, and that was weird. It was really hot. And then when I was older, and we went as a group, like a paramedic group, actually. So it was fun.
Probably
It
a
was
good
fun.
thing to have with you when you go to Vegas. A bunch
Yeah,
of
you kind of need at least one or two.
At least one. Yeah.
Yeah. So Gwen, I know with the ambulance and all that stuff you worked with, I know people that did the paramedics and or they're still doing it and they do paranormal stuff. And I had some people that actually seen bodies leaving, the soul leaving bodies and stuff like that.
I did not know what I was seeing, and I said, "Did I really see that?" Even now, I say, "Now I know I did." But I think back on it, and I did honestly many times. And it was, some of it looked peaceful, and then some of it did not.
Yeah.
That's the only way I know to put it. But I have seen it, and like I said back then, I was kind of like, "Am I crazy?" And I surely didn't tell anybody. No,
of course not. Yeah.
no.
My mother worked in the ER, and she had similar stories. In fact, they knew. I think you guys knew each other.
Well, we knew each other. We loved each other. Yeah. I still love your mom. She's great.
That's it. I mean, I know going to hospitals, I have drawings. When my mom, she was sick and we took her to the hospital a couple of times. And of course, sometimes the hospital doesn't have beds for them right away. And you wait and you're waiting and you're waiting and waiting. And I've seen stuff. I actually drew a little girl on one of the things in the room. She kept on peeking out at us. And at first I thought it was a real kid.
Oh, yeah.
And then I realized it wasn't. So I mean, it's when you go to those places, you'll see stuff that, I mean, one thing you should do, if you need to, is talk about it, because you have to get it out there to get it off your chest and all that stuff.
Now I do now.
Talking about it.
Yeah, I do now, especially with Lee and Matt.
Yeah, and you know who you can talk to.
Yeah,
that's a big thing, because you can't just tell anybody.
Right.
No.
One of the things that we talk to our class about when they start, especially like if it's a ghost hunting 101 or one of the first classes where people are just getting involved in it, even the parapsychology classes, it's kind of like a hunter that goes and starts hunting, or a fisherman that goes and starts fishing. I mean, you don't look at a pond or a lake or a stream the same way once you become a fisherman and you know what you're looking for and where to look and how to plan. And the same way with hunting, you don't go to a forest or fields or things, and you know where to look and how to look, and you start noticing things. It's the same way once you become, once you start doing spiritual interaction. Once you start having that spiritual interaction, you start looking for things and signs.
Starts popping
and it
out.
starts popping out at you,
Yeah.
and the next thing you know,
Mhm.
now you have a vision and you have a sight that is with you all the time.
Mhm.
Anthony, I've got some of the best people I've ever known in our class.
Yes.
Oh,
I wish they could all
Oh,
meet
yeah.
you. Incredible people, teachers, retired police officers,
Mhm.
retired paramedics, military.
you know,
Yeah.
Yeah,
People
Even
that
have
are
a welder.
a
Yeah.
welder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A welder.
It turns into a great big family.
Oh, the welder's actually extremely
you've got-
gifted.
You've got
It's
class.
weird.
You get in these classes and they turn into a great big family because you found somebody now
Mhm.
that may not have been somebody that you normally would have communicated with or talked to or even run in the same packs with, and
Right.
now you find yourself that they fully understand what you're seeing and you're doing, and everybody that goes to these classes has got some kind of question of
Yes.
something of some sort. Either
Mhm.
they're wanting to, you may have some that just want to debunk it, but you may have some that have had some kind of interaction and some kind of something that's happened to them.
Right.
So when they finally get a group of people now that they can talk to about this,
Mhm.
there's no judgment. There's no, and
Right.
your experience is
And
your
it's safe
experience.
experiences
And
coming,
yeah, we want to hear about it. We want to know what happened to you. We don't want you to be quiet about it. We want you to talk
Mhm.
about it.
Yeah.
It's great for people. It's great for
Mhm.
people to have that outlet to open up.
See, I started getting that when I started doing the Paracons. In,
Yes.
when I my first Paracon, 2006, I think I was in 2006. My first Paracon. All those years, I kept a lot of stuff to myself, and I and you see, I'm not too quiet of a person. And back when I was a teenager, I started talking about stuff, and I lost a lot of friends and all that stuff. And but then you read people, you go up to people, and you say, "Hey, do you believe in ghosts?" And you see the reaction. Then you stop if there's like one of those negative things. But 2006, was it 2006? 2007. My first Paracon I went to was the Parody Uni in New Jersey,
Oh, how nice.
and I went there, and I was like, "Wow, these people." It's like I walked in and I talked. I started talking, and it was like a weight coming off my chest.
It is.
Yes. A group of like-minded people. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
and I
wonderful.
went to talking to everybody, and through the years, I made friends with a lot of them. But then I started doing the Paracons, and then when you start doing them, you're more involved with the guest. That the not the guest so much, but the people that are in the field, paranormal field, like other investigators and psychics and everybody else. So now you're getting with those people, and they're more than just a guest. The guest goes there and they see and they talk about it, but then you get to talk to people, and it's like that weight just came right off my chest. And I go to Paragons. If I go there with my wife, she's like, "Where are you?" I'm over here talking. Come on, let's go. She doesn't go with me no more, because I talk the whole time I'm there. If it's an 8-hour Paragon, I'm going to stay the whole 8 hours talking.
Yep.
So,
I can't wait to go to one.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you're going to Deep South Paracomic-Con.
I'm like,
Yeah.
yes.
Anthony, you should come if you can. But I know you're going to MassCon because it's right there beside you.
Oh,
But
yeah, I'm
they
going to
do
go
a
to
comic.
MassCon. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going
But
to MassCon. I'm going to be at Penhurst. That's coming up. I'm going to be there.
I would love that.
But Penhurst, I might go as a guest. We'll see. Because the Penhurst one, my daughter-in-law's due in May, so I'm going to be a grandfather. First time.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Oh, honey, it's wonderful.
So yeah, like
Oh,
my family.
Oh,
There you go.
And so I'm not doing anything that I have to like. So it's going to be part of the Paracon, get a table and everything to sit there all day and,
Yeah,
but
enjoy chatting, but
I'm just going to go visit and then maybe come home because it's a couple hour. It's like a 4-hour ride for me.
if you need to go,
Yeah.
you need to be able to bug out.
Yeah.
Exactly.
If I have all my equipment, I got to pack everything and then go. I'm just going to probably go and there. I'll be there. Gettysburg, of course. I'm going to be the Gettysburg
I'm
Bash.
trying to go to that one. I was supposed to go the last 2 years. Last year I had surgery, and the doctor postponed it. And then it ended up being too big of a surgery, more than what they anticipated, and they wouldn't clear me to drive that far. So that messed me up.
And I'm still in the military, and sometimes I have training that I can't get out of, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But it works out when it works out great.
Yeah, Gettysburg, I love that place. I mean, I go there, and everybody goes on investigations that night after everybody's, I'm going to go to I sit in the back and I party with everybody. You know what I mean? I get my cigar out, I get my beer out, and I'm going to enjoy it. And that's what I do.
I was expecting you to say bourbon and cigar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I'm more of like a whiskey person,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Whiskey,
Jack Daniels,
Scotch.
Jack and Ginger.
Oh, no, what? Jack?
I don't like Jack and Coke either.
I broke up with Jack when I was 18 years old.
Oh,
Me and Jack had a separation because drank too much, and I woke up on a picnic bench and on a Sunday, and there was a Sunday school there, and I got up. And I scared the Sundays. They thought I was dead. It was a whole mess. So I figured maybe Jack and I should break up. Yeah.
I think that's it.
thing. Yeah,
Lee likes muscadine wine, isn't that
I
right?
do. I love muscadine wine.
So,
I'm a Southern girl. What can I say? I don't mind Scuppernong, but muscadine's the one.
Oh,
Jenny, I'm going with Jenny and to White Hill Mansion. They have a Paracon coming up also. I think in April. I'll be there also. Well, I'm going to be a guest there walking around. Sometimes it's nicer to be a guest than actually working them because you get to walk around and talk to everybody.
Yeah.
And sit at your table.
It's so much fun.
Yeah. All that. I think am I freezing up or you guys freezing up?
We probably froze up.
It's probably us.
Are we back?
I don't see it.
It might be me. I don't know. Sometimes I freeze up and everything, So.
Am I back?
I was like, yeah, you're back.
Both me and I.
Yeah, you're back. And he's behind you, and you just poked him in the eye.
Poked him in the eye.
Yeah. So, I mean, you have a couple of classes and stuff like that. You want to tell everybody?
We just finished our class. Tonight would have been the first night that we didn't do the class, and everybody's not feeling it.
Oh,
None
we're
of us.
suffering.
Yeah, we're all missing each other so bad. But this Sunday, we're going to have a little small 2-hour get together. And then the day before Christmas, the day before Easter, we're going to do a quick couple of hour investigation, and we're going to have an Easter dinner.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I said, I don't care what we eat, as long as it's got deviled eggs involved, I'm good. He's going to smoke something. I don't know if it's ribs or chicken.
It's going to be ribs.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
That'll be good.
Over here in Queens, there's not too much smoking going on with meats. Other kind of smoking going on, but not meat.
Yeah, it's definitely a Southern thing. It's,
yeah.
We take a lot of pride in how we do that.
I got to learn how. I just bought a place up in PA, so. In down PA, I don't know where it is. It's like I know I get in my car and I drive there, and I got to start getting into that smoke stuff and all.
Well, anytime you want to come down south, we'll take care of that for you.
Absolutely.
I know. I would love to come down and just to hang out or do investigation. Like I said, Chris Allgood and Audra, they're on the show with Ronald Ordis. They're all they do the show together. Entity Voices, and they're down there, and I'd like to get down there just because they got the Montgomery house. They want us to go do that, and so I mean, that'd be great if we could go there.
Well,
to
let
North
me tell you,
Carolina.
I would love that. I want to meet anybody that you know and go anywhere you think is cool. This is what we've got planned. April the 16th is when classes start.
Mhm.
And then, so I sent you that little picture. We teach through Piedmont Technical College.
Okay.
And so that's pretty cool. Here you go. Well, I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get
It's
it.
not getting there. I wish I could have brought it up.
That's okay. I'll share it. Basically, the classes are April the 16th. That's on a Tuesday, and it's every Tuesday and Thursday for 6 weeks. And then after that, we start doing our field trips, is what we call it.
Mm-hmm.
May the 11th, we're going to Aiken, South Carolina, which is the Battle of, what was the battle?
Battle of Aiken.
Oh yeah, the Battle of Aiken. And we're going to a place called the Carriage House Inn.
Yeah.
And it was a Civil War hospital. You can still, it's kind of like Gettysburg. You can still see the holes they drilled in the
And the hole-
floor so the blood would seep through because they were sloshing around in it.
The red rain, they called it in Gettysburg,
Yeah.
Yeah.
because the blood just came down
Yeah.
like rain.
How horrible. And then after,
You know, there's something unique about Gettysburg. I just got to put this out there right quick. I'm a soldier, and it's a big deal for us. That's one of the things that we study. Both commanders that were meeting on the battlefield both put out, hey, if there had been so many civilian casualties up at that point,
yeah,
they said, look, if we lose any more civilians in this, then we both have lost the war. And they both agreed to do everything they could to minimize civilian casualties. And during that entire battle, there was one civilian casualty.
stray bullet. She
Happened to
was
be a
making
stray
bread.
bullet.
She was
And it
making
just
bread.
the honor that
Well, Gettysburg, you talking about?
those two armies had to make sure that was the
Yeah.
minimum.
The Gettysburg one you're talking about?
Yeah, Gettysburg.
That was Jenny Wade.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
I want to investigate the
Yes,
Jenny
yeah.
Wade house. I'm sure she has plenty to say.
Yeah, I've been there. It's crazy. All my electronics and my camera's turned on by himself. But that's back when I had, 35 millimeter cameras. When I first started, that's what we had. 30,
You know, they catch things that digital doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's really worth it. But then getting it, developed and having to wait.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah.
But the Spirit of the Carriage House is going to be March the 11th. And we're going to go on a ghost tour. Dr. Kent Cubbage has a wonderful historic ghost tour, and it lasts an hour and a half. It's a walking tour. And in the center of Aiken is St. Thaddeus Cemetery. And it is so haunted. There's brothers that are buried there that created the hand grenade. And you can see huge lights going across the cemetery to their graves, all the way across and back. And it's so prevalent that people that live around there, if they see you ghost hunting, they'll come out and say, hey, I see the lights all the time. They're real.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we're going to investigate their graves, and there's several other people in the cemetery we're going to investigate.
Mhm.
Then, so an hour and a half, we're going to see all these places. There's a one place that we're trying to get into. It was condemned, but we could at least go into the lobby. It's called Hotel Aiken, and it's an incredible place. And we're going to a Graniteville Cemetery. There's a little boy that froze to death, bless his little heart, on a train. And they said he looked to be about 6 years old. And the town, put out, back then, I guess it was like teletype or whatever, telegraph. And they sent out, we found a little deceased boy, and nobody ever claimed him. The town buried him. And I've got pictures I can show you. His little grave is full of toys.
Sorry.
It's okay.
We're going to jam out.
It's what do you call it? My cousin calling about tomorrow. Like, told you I'm going to see a Broadway show.
Oh yeah,
Spamalot.
There you go.
that's gonna be fun.
Yeah, it
So
will be.
that's gonna be the rest of the Carriage House Inn. 3 different locations. It's gonna be a lot of fun. There's another inn we're trying to get into that's also haunted, but that might be a little more than what we need to do for that weekend. So
Mhm.
that's May the 11th, and then May 25th. We're doing something else. We are going to a cabin in the woods that's haunted.
That's awesome.
Now, Matt, you can probably tell them more about this. It's on the state park, in the state park area on Lake Kiowee, and
Yep.
there's 3, and they're next to an Indian burial ground.
So this lake used to be home to Fort George, and Fort George was built right between the Creek Nation capital and the Cherokee Nation capital,
Mhm.
because Creek and the Cherokee continuously they fought, on a regular, and so King George said, "Well, I'll build this fort there, and it'll stop everything." Well, he did, and so there was an incident where it was kind of known that the Cherokee would dress up like the Creek, and they would go do something bad to try to get them in trouble. And then the Creek would dress up like the Cherokee and go do something bad to try to get the Cherokee in trouble. It was a common thing.
Yeah.
And during one of these raids, excursions, a lieutenant in the British Army was killed. And back then, that was a no-no. You didn't kill officers. You enlisted, yeah, you'd kill them. But an officer, you did not kill them. You held them, you took care of them, and you traded them. You did what you could.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you were supposed to be honorable, right? So the commander at the fort called the Cherokee Nation in and had 38 tribe chiefs came in to work on a treaty with them and kind of an understanding why.
Mhm.
And he said, for every one of your men, my officers that's killed, 40 of your people will be killed. So he hung all 38 of them in front of right there after they had just eaten dinner, and then they tried them and hung them right there in front of everybody.
And they're all buried right there. And
Yep.
there's an island that a lot of people call Cemetery Island. We're going to take our boat and go out there and investigate.
Yeah. So when this lake was built, it covered all that stuff up, but spirits, they don't quite get covered up by water like that. So
No.
there's a lot.
No.
Well, we stayed in the cabin and we heard someone walking on the roof.
Yes.
And he went outside with his weapon because, good God,
Mhm.
what in the world, was going on? I didn't know what to do. And he said, "There's nothing on the roof," but we could hear footsteps, and I yelled, "Stop!" and it stopped,
Mhm.
and then it started back again, step, step, step. It was crazy, and we're not the only ones that have paranormal activity in that spot. There's been lots of ghost hunts, so we're getting 3 cabins and blow up mattresses because us ghosties can all pile up there
Oh, yeah.
together, and we are going to have a blast. I'm so
Yeah.
excited. I want to know the whole story. I want to hear what each side has to say because so many people died there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, and the last event we're doing is June 8th, and it's in Dryden, Virginia. We're staying at a haunted Victorian farmhouse. And there's a little cottage beside of it. And then we're going to Gap Cave. That's said to be haunted as well.
Okay.
And then we're going to a historic theater. And as you said, theaters, because so much emotion is there, it's like almost like a battery charging it.
Yeah.
So we're going to have a blast. We may even be able to pick up an antique store. And if I can make it through not buying everything, I'll be okay.
So things will be bought.
Things
Oh yeah,
Things
yeah.
will be bought.
I mean, you got a lot of stuff coming up. That's great. Yeah. I mean, cabins in the woods. I love that stuff. You out there and but I mean you got to bring trigger objects. Definitely bring a trigger object into the woods.
We've got some arrowheads. We have some arrowheads that were chipped. You know how you chip them around the sacred fire at the powwow. We're bringing those, and we've got a lot. I've got some of my regalia, so I'll bring some pieces of that. We've got a question here. Somebody's asking, what is the first eye-opening experience you had?
Yeah, that was Ron.
Okay. Hey, Ron, thank you for the question. Okay. Oh, I know.
For you?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I know what it is, but
Okay. All right. So when I was about 6 years old. Okay. So this was the 70s. And I Dream of Jeannie was a big deal. And everybody had this.
Crush on her.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. She's gorgeous. And that we were I would look at the Sears catalog, and pick out what I wanted, and I'd get a big magic marker and, go around what I wanted. Well, darn, I got chicken pox. And I kept scratching, and I was covered. I had those things on my eyelids. I still have a scar right here. Had them all over my chest. And Mama told Mama Jenny, she told on me, she won't stop scratching. She's going to have scars. So Mama Jenny went and got 2 I Dream of Jeannie pajamas, one pink and one blue. So I could be the bad sister or the good sister if I wanted to. The whole point of it was it had those long pants and the poof. So I couldn't scratch. She's smart. You see what I'm saying? You see what I was dealing with? She's smart. Well, I was having a reaction to something also. And no, I don't know what it was. They think it was like a medicine or something, but I started having these hives on top of having chicken pox, and my fever spiked real high to the point where I was hallucinating. And they got the fever down, but the doctor said I was going to be out of school for a while. Now that's a big deal because I went to school, doors open, I'm in school. And
not me.
Oh boy. And they sent out like 2 weeks of schoolwork home, and I thought, oh my God, I'm going to die. 2 weeks of, So Mama Jenny told me to pray, and we've been talking about angels. Long story, sorry, but I'll get to it. I finally got my fever down. I can't remember. Back then it was aspirin. Remember, there was no Advil and Motrin and all that. And it came down. And
a lot of ice cubes.
I had an ice pack.
It was really bad. A forget me stick.
It'll knock you right in the head.
Go lay down, kid.
Yeah. So
walk it off.
So I prayed hard, and all of a sudden I heard a voice that said, I'm here with you. How can I appear to you that you won't be afraid? And I thought, oh my goodness, Mama Jenny told me this might happen. What am I going to do? Oops, excuse me, I'm hitting the table. And so I thought about it real hard, and she told me what she had done, and Mama told me what she had done. So I thought, okay, well, I'm going to figure this out. And I said, Mama Jenny always likes to watch those British true crime shows on, TV. And she'd listen to the albums too. And they always had that British accent. And I love that. So I said, okay, I want you to have that kind of accent. And she bought me some Slim Jims and peanuts. And I had them on my nightstand. And I looked over and saw the Mr. Peanut. And I said, top hat and cane and suit and everything. And when he appeared to me, it looked like a snow globe that somebody had shaken up. And then he came through. And when I could see him, he had on a vest, and I could see the fibers in his vest. I could see the buttons on it. I could see his monocle and the chain. It was so strong. And it was not a hallucination. The reason why I couldn't go to school was because I still had chickenpox. And so I said, thank you for coming. And he said, I'm going to heal you. And he talked to me, and he put his hand, but it was like his hand went through me. And I just felt so warm, almost like butterflies. And then I fell asleep. And when I woke up, I told my mom. Well, she called Mama Jenny. And now here we go. And Mama Jenny told Mom some things, and I wanted Mama Jenny to spend the night. She said, no, Judy can do this. Judy can do it. And I thought, am I going to be able to do it? And I had one of those little slimline phones. Mama Jenny bought me one before that. And then after, she got me one that looked like one of those little French ones that you hang, that's got the little
The
white
big,
pieces in the
the
bar.
big thing here.
Yeah. And I had one of those
It's like 90
macrame.
pounds.
Yeah. She got me a macrame table that hung from the ceiling with a little glass thing so I could put it there. She said, now you can call me as soon as something happens. If you feel like, you need to talk to me. And Mom had one of those great big phones with the big antenna for the house, and she was ready. And so I finally fell asleep, and I thought nothing's going to happen after all of this, And sure enough, it did. I was looking at the doorway, which when I'm laying in the bed, it was just in front of me. And again, I saw it. It's a lot like Star Trek when they had the, but it wasn't that graphic. It was a little more dreamy and so beautiful. And then he came forward again and he told me that, I had a calling, that there were things that I needed to do. And you'll know them when you see them, but you need to talk to me. And I could hear him a lot. Now, it was amazing that I could hear him occasionally off and on through my life. And it was usually when things were really about to get tense. And I'm really sure he saved my life once. I was going physically get down, a road, and he said, "Look, you need to turn now." And I did, and I looked ahead, and there was a big car pileup. So there was a lot of things that he did for me. And then when I turned 18, he told me, okay, you're on your own. And I thought, Lord, that was thanks a lot, But,
sent you out to pasture.
Yeah, but I called him the man in blue, and I didn't know it. But my mom also had a man in blue. It wasn't until after I wrote my book that Mama finally, let that piece of info out. And I was like, I could have put it in the book.
Thanks.
Why didn't you tell me, But I'm sure he was an angel, and I'm sure he was there to heal me. And Shaman Willie Gibson said that was when I was first chosen to be a shaman.
He's probably still around you, much as you don't think.
Oh, yeah.
He's always around. They don't just leave you. They let you do what make your decisions and everything, but they're always there.
Yeah,
always be there, and they always watch just in case something happens. They could be doing something every day for you, and you won't even know because you figure, oh, that's the way it's supposed to be. It could go right or left, and then again go right to go the safe way. So
right.
Yeah.
That's with spirit or whatever. People call them guardian angels or whatever. I mean, everybody has a name for, but whatever it is, it's always trying to help you out.
That's
It
right.
helped you out today, not have a wreck. I guarantee it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I was going down the road and there was a pothole. And when the person ahead of me sped over it, it kicked this huge square rock out. And when it did, I ran over it and it blew my tire. And I just had to, flippity flop until I made it to an exit because there were barriers up because there's road construction. And I guess, I kind of heard a voice say, just
I did too. I was on the phone with her.
Yeah, you did?
Yeah, I did.
That's
it was something.
Yeah. So, Gwen, the same question for you.
I didn't have anything huge like that. The first thing I really, really remember is I lived in Saluda in South Carolina, and we lived in the country. And my brother had went across the street, and I thought the TV was on, an old Western kind of thing. And it wasn't. And I went back to my window and I looked out and I saw Indians in a line walking. And I remember there was a baby in a papoose. Is that what it's called? And the little thing. I remember that. And I remember there were kids and older folks. And I didn't see too many middle-aged folks. But I think that was it could have been before because I was sick as a lot as a kid. And they said that I would say weird stuff. That's how my mom put it. But I think that's the first time I actually maybe figured it out. But they told me, oh, I was dreaming, or no, that didn't happen. But I know it happened. I do. But I do, and I can picture it in my head. I just can't draw like you, but I can picture it in my head right now.
I always tell people that tell me that it's like you don't have to draw. You can just sit down and draw and write every piece of what you see, from hair to face, your color of a shirt, shoes, where it is in the corner. So I mean, I might draw the picture, but you can also just write down what you see
I need to do
exactly the
that.
way at the moment, so you remember it.
Yeah.
Okay. So I might draw it, and what you're doing is actually drawing it through words.
True. Thank you for that. I need to
That's
do
You know
that.
what I'm saying?
That's
So-
what we did for Family Spirit. If
Yeah.
you guys want to just take a look at the book, I mean, the Kindle version's not very expensive, but it's the first story.
Yes, it's
Mm.
it's a great book. All her books, I
Thank
love
you.
them anyway. But
Thank you,
I'm her
Gwen.
cheerleader too. So
You're so sweet.
I'm
So-
just saying, when it comes to spirit, it's just so many things that they do for us every day, and like I said, protect us, or maybe not, and maybe some don't want to protect us,
yeah, true.
but because we do have accidents and stuff like that too, so maybe they couldn't get there fast enough to help us.
That's right. Matthew lived in a real bad situation when he was young. The house that he lived in was violently haunted.
Yeah.
Things flew across the room. It was horrible what he lived through, and he was such a young man that and his father was in school and was also
Stepfather. Yeah.
his stepfather was in school and also working, and he had 6 brothers and sisters
Yep.
that were
6
younger
yeah.
than him.
Ooh,
So he had to take
We have big families in the South.
yeah. Well, Italians do too, so I only got.
Well, that's part Italian.
Yeah.
So
So,
you got the Italian gene. Hey, you got to reproduce.
yeah.
That's the way it is. Got
Matt
that
had to
Italian
handle it
blood
by
in
himself at 15.
Yeah,
Wow.
it was my first experience was kind of. I had a lot of little experiences that
you.
I didn't really fully understand were paranormal. I just thought they were normal, but it was like something was going on. And then, living in at the time, what I would consider the belt buckle of the Bible Belt of the South, and starting to experience things like that. I went to my local pastor and was trying to talk to him about it. His face turned white. He was like, this is more than I can handle. We're going to have to go to the next level. And I was actually doing some work with some Mennonites, which there's a lot of farms around the area I was living in. And they came in, and one of the ladies that was there was like, look, let's do some research. And we went to the libraries, and we started finding out details about where I lived and getting information. And this woman empowered me to, figure out the best way to handle that situation at the time. I didn't know anything about paranormal investigating, about spiritual warfare, about dealing with anything like that. So it really opened up my eyes to it, and it made me a stronger, more well-rounded person that was able to take that experience and move on, hold it through the rest of my life and guide me. I've even had experiences when I was overseas. I was in one place in Iraq that was Chemical Ali's plant, his laboratory where he did studies on human beings. He did human experiments. And all I had was a recorder, an EVP recorder. And I went in and I was talking in my broken Tarzan Arabic. And I was trying to get some answers, and I got some responses in Arabic, but it was so fast I couldn't understand it. And when I let my interpreter sit down and hear this, it freaked him out to the point where I thought I was about to get in a gunfight. He thought I was doing this stuff to these people, and he wanted to, he thought it almost turned bad. And
Ooh.
He thought that
I had
he was
to explain
he
to
thought
him.
he was torturing Iraqi soldiers because
Yeah,
the EVPs were so strong.
Yeah, they were so strong, and I was like, no, this is spirits. And then I had to go through the whole 9 yards of explaining to him what that was all about. And hopefully he's listening today. But it was an eye opening experience. How much sometimes some of that trauma and that pain sticks around, and how we can do what we can to heal that even today.
Yeah. I mean, I know we had a couple of people that I know that were in the military. We had them on the show and everything, and experiences they had over there. Some talk about, some won't, but it's, you got to understand in a situation like that, it's always going to be something,
Yeah.
Always.
and that was a good idea that you took a recorder out and actually recorded it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Most people won't do that, or they don't think about that, But you got in mind, I'm going to be investigating,
Yeah.
And it's because it went south on you a little bit there, but
Yeah.
It almost went bad. It worked out okay.
but but you had the idea to actually, and that's a great investigator that in that kind of situation, just let me pull out a recorder, let me do this, And, I mean, but and there's a lot of stuff going on, and you probably seen other stuff that but it's it is what it is. So what are you gonna say,
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
And
know,
to be able to teach us better.
Yeah,
You and
Mhm.
Lee.
yeah.
Anthony, you have to go investigate with them just one time. It is awesome.
Thank you,
They're a
Gwen.
team. I tell him that all the time. Look, he's blushing. He's blushing. They
That's
are. They're
okay.
awesome.
There was a question over here and just went by me here. Was the
What
first
is
what is the first eye-opening experience you
Yeah, we got that
had?
one.
That's the one we had already.
Yeah.
Or was it Quinn?
Oh, tell Uncle G hello.
Oh, that's Uncle Giuseppe. That's a guy on my
Giuseppe.
team. Giuseppe.
Oh, right.
Hey,
You-
darling.
Giuseppe. You can't tell what kind of name that is. Huh?
Zippy. Oh, man.
Yeah, I mean he's on my team. Hey, we gotta hang out together.
We have got to come investigate with
Yeah,
you
I
or
mean,
meet halfway somewhere.
Joe, I call him Joe C, but he's a good guy. He got a couple good hits on. Well, yeah. You heard the UFO museum, UFO Paranormal Museum that's in Pine Bush, New York. I don't know if you ever heard. It's in
I've
Pine
heard
Bush,
of
New
it,
York.
yeah.
They actually have every year they have a UFO fair that goes up and down there. But the museum is actually taking one of his pieces of evidence and putting it on display there.
Oh wow.
It goes. We have an
Nice.
SLS, and we did a place, Kingsland Manor in New Jersey,
Okay.
and Joe was recording, and Ron was there, and
Ron, my man.
Ron Iacovetti, because every time I say Ron, they mix him up with the Ron from Earth too. So he was recording, and Ron was standing there, and it was mapping him as a stick figure, and next to him there was another stick figure, a smaller one, and there's no way she should be mapping another stick figure. So Joe started telling him, raise your arm, do this and that. So Ron went to move his arm, and the stick figure next to him ducked.
There
Oh
you
wow.
Actually ducked, and it came back. Then all of a sudden, some lights came on and shot across the screen, and everything was gone. Like
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
it was crazy. So they're actually putting some of his evidence in the UFO museum, UFO Paranormal. Yeah, so which is pretty cool. We're happy for that. So he gets to show some of his experiences and stuff like that. So
go. Oh, there you go.
Somebody's asking here. Where'd it go?
Which
There it
one?
is. What is Gwen and Leitreanna's most memorable paranormal experience? That's Todd and Carmela.
Oh,
Actually,
Todd
it
and
has,
Camilla, good people.
yeah. Actually, it includes Matt and my mom and another one of our investigators named Andy. It is one of the most endearing, sentimental moments, actually, of my paranormal life. Matthew took me, and I'm going to try to go fast because I know we're running kind of out of time, and I don't want to bore you. But
No, we got plenty of time. 9:30,
oh, okay, cool.
and then we can go over if you need. If you need something.
Okay, cool. Well, good. So
Unless
Matt
you're
took
bored
me.
with me.
Sounds good to me. Matt
He
took
says,
me.
forget about
Forget about
I
it.
know a guy that knows a guy. So taken care of. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well,
So Matthew took me to the civilian marksmanship program in Alabama. We went to a paranormal conference in Alabama, and we took a little detour and went over there. And I walked into a room full of Garand, Garans, M1 Garans everywhere. And this is from World War II, and they are reworked. Take over, baby. I'm trying.
So these are all like turn-ins, and the governments turned them in, and all these governments that they were loaned to during the war, they have to turn them back in. It was a lend lease, so they lended them to them, or they, and then they had to basically either buy them or give them back.
Matt, just get her.
Um,
I'm
and
sorry. I've got a
so-
dog photo bombing.
Oh,
Just get her. Come on, baby. Come on.
so
This is Ginger that runs the house.
Ginger.
And both of these little boogers can see spirits. And there's Luna.
Oh, hey,
Yes.
Luna.
Hey, Luna.
Mhm.
Hey, Jen.
Luna is
Look at the.
the 27 pounds that feels like 190 pounds every
Yeah.
time she steps on it.
She's a fart machine too.
Joel Marshall.
She is.
So
She's they both can see spirits. I'm trying to figure out how to let them investigate, but I don't want them to be in harm's way. So we'll figure it out. But anyway, back to it.
so they have these rifles out so you can purchase them, right? If you're involved, if you're part of the organization, the group that does this. And I've always wanted to go to this place. It's one of those bucket list places I've always wanted to go, being a soldier, and I collect weapons and history and all that kind of stuff. It's like everything rolled into one. So it's like it's an amazing place. You really should go check it out. So Lee's grandfather was in a unit that I actually have also been in. I've gone to war with that unit twice. So it's kind of an amazing little connection that we have. And Lee wanted something that was a memorable piece for her dad. I mean, for her grandfather.
If you hear snoring, that's actually the French bulldog. She snorts. I'm not snoring, I promise.
It's like her eyes are open. I didn't think I bored her that much.
I just thought I'd throw that out. So Matt wanted to have a beautiful gun. He wanted to have a historic piece that he could treasure.
And a shooter, something that was a good operational weapon.
Mm-hmm.
I had to have something. I had what I wanted, right? So I'm going through looking, and I was like, Lee, go pick out one that you want, right? And let's figure out which one you want. So Lee just says, all right, well, she's not picking them up and looking at them. She just holds her hands down, and she walks down the row of all these rifles
with my eyes closed.
With her eyes closed. And granted, there's more M1 Grands than you're ever going to see in your life in one place, right? Unless you're in some kind of crazy museum, right? So you're not going to ever see this many. So she comes along and she picks one, and it's not the prettiest looking rifle. And I'm like, okay. And I pick it up and I look it all over, and I'm like, okay, it's a good year. The serial number's coming up about right. And I said, okay, just keep going and come back to it if it's the one you think you want. So as she's walking down, I grab one from way down there and put it over here, and then grab the one she wanted and put it way down here. So I moved it like 5 feet down the road, right? So she turns around and she comes back, and I'm watching her, and she comes right back to it, and she says, no, it's this one. She said, wait a minute, this is the same one. And I said, okay, well, that's definitely it. And we picked it up, and I'm looking it over.
And the lady at the counter is watching all of this happen. And Matt was like, what were you looking for? And I said, I'm looking for my grandfather's gun, or what would be like my grandfather's gun.
Mm-hmm.
And so she hears that. She's like, well, I can look up the serial number and find out who it went to, what unit it was with, and all this stuff. And so she does a serial number lookup, and it was with the 29th Infantry, which I had fought with the 29th Infantry. He had fought with the 29th Infantry.
Mm-hmm.
And it was during the time that he would have been in Normandy. And
it had been in the Asian theater too.
Also had moved into the Asian theater after that. And I'm like, wow, what are the odds of this? Now, this may not have been his rifle, but he certainly probably put his hands on it, moving it.
Yeah, it was something to do with that. Oh, that's awesome.
So, you know.
And see, I haven't seen him. He's from the Philippines, you know, and during the war, Mama Jenny and Leon, you know, they had a hard time seeing each other and whatnot. And Mom was born, and even though he held her as an infant, she doesn't have any memories of him.
Mm.
And so getting this gun was a big deal for me and for her. Now Luna's scratching. I guess you hear it sounding like she's
It sounds like what my dog used to do.
We're doing our best over here. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
So we went to a gun show, and he found the scabbard. Is that the right word? Bayonet. Yeah.
Matched it in the sling, and it was like
the whole thing just came together, and it was
Right.
very reasonably priced. And he got me a case for it.
Yeah.
And I found a compass, and see, I investigate with old stuff like compasses and dowsing
How I
rods.
started out. Yeah, compass.
Yeah, and I found one that would have been of the same era, and Matt got it for me, and we were showing Gwen in the living room, and another one of our investigators, Andy. They had come over just to hang out, and I said, show him what you got me, baby. And he was bringing it all out. We were telling the whole story, and we happened to have some of our equipment on just cause. And
we were together.
It's because we were together. And I said, call Mom in here. Let her see all of this. And when she sat down, she heard her father's voice for the first time.
Yes, it was amazing.
It was beautiful.
Yeah, it all came together. It was amazing.
It was incredible.
Yeah.
Mom was she just froze, and he called her name and talked to her. And I really feel like the fact that we went to
we went to the effort to put all this together as a monument to him and as a memorial to him.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that we put all this together. Now, he's never come through on any of our devices, any of the times we've attempted to communicate with him. And then he finally comes through after we've done all this. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That is a beautiful story. That really is.
And last night when we had, was it last night? Tuesday night when we did our guided meditation for Mom to see him.
Yeah.
He finally allowed him to be, allowed her to see him,
Yeah.
And Gwen saw him.
I did.
Because she was part of the whole reveal. In fact, it was her equipment, I think, that actually picked up his voice.
And my brother actually, we think, brought him in from outside.
Yeah.
You remember that?
That's right, because her brother in spirit is also her spirit guide.
Yes.
And he actually went out and got Leon and brought him in.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was beautiful. It was
It's
just
amazing.
Absolutely beautiful. First
I'm
time
Yeah,
I've ever experienced my grandfather,
Yeah, that's a fantastic story, really. I mean, when stuff like that happen, and it's with the field and everything, the equipment that we have and everything, and it all came together with, it was meant to be.
Yes.
Everything was meant there. It was every from A to Z.
It was
Everything
all
is
there.
fitting. It was just right there. So it came in and it was meant to be.
Yeah.
It's awesome that your mom got to hear him.
Mhm.
It was a beautiful moment.
It was.
Yes, that's why we do this too. You like just try to help people and stuff like that. That's what we try to do.
Great.
So
I'll never forget it. That's for sure.
yeah.
I'm glad I had my good friends, to experience it with us.
Yes.
Hmm. And you
We
had
didn't get
multiple
it on
people
video,
too.
but we were all so stupefied we didn't get it on video.
Yeah.
Think
Yeah.
to, yeah.
Didn't
And
think
it-
to.
you
It
know-
was happening, and we were going along with it.
That's
so
when
many of
that's when the
those-
camera comes at that's when the cell phone's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I'd have just thought.
And so many of those moments, those really amazing moments that people have when they're doing investigations and stuff, they don't catch on video because they're in the moment, and
Mhm.
or they're setting up or they're tearing down,
Mhm.
and it's a lot about that personal experience that people have.
Mhm.
It is.
Yeah, I'm very big with cameras. So I got my video camera. I got body cams.
Yeah.
I wear a body
Gwen
cam
got one. Gwen
the
got a
front,
body
and I
cam.
wear
two
one in my
now.
back.
Yeah.
I wear 2 body cams. One in my front.
That's a
one in
good
my back.
idea.
Yeah.
On the
And then
back.
I walk around my camera, and because I have a full night vision camera and stuff. You go into locations where, like the Trans-Allegheny, when I went there, it was like pitch black, and you're walking down the hall, and the only way you're walking straight is by I touch the wall, put my arm
That's a
straight
lot.
out. I know I'm walking straight because that's how dark it is. If I shut and I got the 2-inch screen that I can see in night vision, and I'm big with cameras. So what I do is with the body cam, as soon as I get anywhere, first thing goes on is my body cam. Before when I leave, my body cam's still on. Because how many moments, like you just said, how many moments do you have that you're breaking down, everything's away, and that's all of a sudden something happens.
Yeah.
At least if your body camera is on, you can at least get a video or you just get the audio.
Right.
So I always leave the body cam on, and that's how I get some stuff. I get some good stuff that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the body cam is one of my biggest pieces of equipment now. And then I bought a bunch of little body cams. I got the 2 body cams for my body, and I got like 8 little ones that I can pull around. Yeah.
What's your favorite piece of equipment? I can't talk. I don't know what I was trying to say.
My camera, my video camera.
Yeah.
That's my favorite piece of equipment. And then my most expensive piece of equipment was my favorite piece because I got so much stuff with that, from stuff moving and, what I like about a camera is the video camera is that when you're videoing, you got the video and you got the audio. So you got video and you got the EMFs all in one.
Mhm.
Okay.
That's true. That's
You know what I
true.
mean? So you got both of them there. Second of all, how many times you hear something and you question it, like a scream or whisper or something. I caught people on camera whispering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and how many times, like, because I'm listening, because when I do my video, when I do review on my camera, I listen to it separate, and then I watch the video. So you get those moments where you're like,
Yeah.
oh, what was that? What? Oh, they just said a word. They said something.
Yeah.
And then I look at the video and I see lips moving. Or you see somebody leaning over to somebody else. So that's why I like my video camera. That's one of my that and my body cams, and I'm just all about videos.
I got a new body cam and I'm starting to play with it. I paid $20 for it. I hope I don't have a piece of crap. I don't know.
Mine was about the same price, and
Was it?
I keep forgetting to use it.
It's
So
this
somebody
one.
needs to remind me. Yeah,
Is that yours?
mine looks like that.
Very
Yeah.
similar.
I used to use the other night, but I don't think I charged it enough. And the head moves up and down.
That's
Yeah.
exactly like
Yeah.
mine. That
These
is.
are the ones I got. I bought 8 of them because they were cheap enough.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I bought them on Christmas time when they had the sales and stuff. I bought them for like $8 a piece.
What?
Yeah, they're like $20-$30 a piece. So it was
Yeah.
like $8 if you buy within this time and this time. Amazon has those little things. So I was like, that much, I'm going to buy a bunch of them.
Yeah.
So I figured you put these down on the table, and you could the lens goes up and down.
Yeah.
On it, and then you got a SIM card on there too, so which is good. You know, 'cause you can take it out and put it in. You know, so I haven't really used it. I tried the other night, and I don't think I charged it enough because my other body cams has screens on it. You know, so it's on and stuff like that. This is supposed to be a red, blue button, blue thing. You put it on, it's supposed to be on, and I put it on, but I don't know how long I had to charge for. Probably before I know it's dead at the end of the night. I got to download that too. You know,
That's exactly like mine. You guys need to remind me to wear it because I forget.
Well, here's my deal, and this was a concern of mine when I was filming, and it's a concern of mine doing evidence review. If I have to go to the bathroom and I've got a microphone on, or I got a test cam on, oh god,
So cut that. Cut that. We'll be like,
well, that's when I take my camera
You got
off
a
and I
ghost
like
ritual going on right
That's
now.
I
it.
leave it outside the area where so
Take that
I
thing
don't want no
off.
extra anything extra to listen to. And like, hey, what's that? It sounds like running water. I didn't hear that night. You know,
We would
Yeah.
definitely do something like that. Yeah.
That's something that happened to me. Yeah.
Well, Gwen, when you
Yeah.
get there, the first thing you put on is your body cam.
Okay.
Try the way I tried it. You know, so the minute you get there, you put it on and you wear it all night long and to the end of the night.
Probably when
And-
I get dressed, I'm gonna clip it right here so I'll remember.
because I mean you're gonna at the beginning when you're setting up, there's stuff happening too.
Yeah, I thought about getting a lanyard and clipping it on that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I got a magnet thing.
Okay,
You put it in
okay.
the front and back, like it's a little like what the cops have. You know, the
Yeah.
magnets,
I want
and
a
then you
cop.
put it on,
Yeah.
and that's why I put it on too. You know, but
That's so
sometimes like my stomach gets a little too big here, and sometimes I get more of the ceiling than in front of me.
Yeah,
Well,
I know
I'm
that.
gonna clip mine right here on the. I have my dolls out shirt on, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm gonna clip mine.
The only thing you got to worry about the
the
clipping on too is when you're moving, it might move with your shirt.
True.
Yeah. And then
That means you put it on the outside.
your clothing. Yeah.
Yeah, because because how many EVPs you think you got an EVP, and it's not really. You got the recorder, and your thumb's going up and down on the recorder, and it sounds like shh, So
That's why I was thinking maybe a lanyard. Maybe it would
Mhm.
buffer some of it. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe
I
we
have
need
my
to get
bag. I have
Yeah,
my
yeah.
bag. The little cheap little bag. It's the fanny
Yeah, but
pack
it's
looking.
good.
Yeah, but I
do
put
you
it
guys
around
wear the
like this.
vest?
I want a
We're
vest.
working on it. We're
Yeah, those
working.
vests are really good because, I mean, when you go to a place that it's a lot of walking, you want to bring your equipment.
Mhm.
Those pockets in the vest come in handy instead of holding in your hand or a backpack. Because sometimes a backpack,
Hurts your
you have
back.
it in front of you, it doesn't kill your back as much.
Right.
Because especially in a lot of these places, up and down stairs and everything. So
I got a Scooby Doo van, one of those little kids ones. I'm ready to put some piece of equipment in it and see what happens.
Yes.
why not?
That'll be fun.
Why not?
Or put a REM pod in it.
Yeah. Put a REM pod.
It's always good to try something new.
Yeah.
That's I mean, it might be outside. I always try to think outside the box. There was a guy on my team, Joe McCaffrey. He passed away. It's going to be 3 years.
Oh, I'm
next week.
sorry.
And yeah, thank you. Matter of fact,
Hmm.
this tattoo is something he drew for my team. I don't know if you can see it. I
Oh,
can't
yeah.
remember. It's a Reaper type of thing with the what do you call lanternites. It's like a representative of my team. Seekers of the Paranormal. Seekers
Oh,
Club
how
of the
cool.
Paranormal. So, but he always said to think outside the box. Think outside the box. And he used to get some good evidence and stuff like that. So every time something comes along, you say, "Hey, maybe I could use that in investigation." Just try it. You know what I mean? From evidence or equipment or anything. I've been trying that for years. I got a whole room full of stuff I haven't used. You buy it and try it and it doesn't work. It goes in the closet.
We know the feeling.
We do know the feeling.
Y'all do. Y'all got a lot.
The pain is real. The pain is real.
So what equipment do you guys prefer?
I got a really good set of 4K cameras that have the ability to record and see in multiple spectrums and night
Oh, my
vision.
Lord.
And I can set up an array with those. And our laser grids, really enjoy setting up a laser grid, especially if you got a large area to run.
Mhm.
Film, personal cameras, film cameras, digital cameras.
That SLS thing
SLS
is
is great.
Mhm.
REM pods and
cool. Flashlights.
Flashlights are so good.
Flashlights is my favorite.
Mhm.
Flashlights are really good, especially for newer people that are getting involved in investigation. Because I mean, you can go buy a mag light for $20,
Mhm.
and it's a really great tool. It has multiple uses, and then you've got
Yeah.
a tangible piece of equipment that you can say, okay, there's no way this was any way, shape, or form modified. I bought it from the dealer for a whole different purpose than what I'm using it for, but it works out great,
Yeah.
And so it's those. Sometimes those are eye opener piece of equipment for newer investigators, and if you've got entities that are working, that don't have a lot of energy,
Right.
they're really good. It's really good for them because they can draw energy off of that. Because every time they break that light, they're able to draw energy. So it's really good for them if you're in an environment where they don't, they haven't had a lot of interaction experience. That's one of our favorites. But tech is coming to a point where in our lifetime, we will see real-time audio, video conversations.
I mean, look at
in real
Staticom.
time. Look at Staticom. Look at SLS cameras. You put those two together, and there's been some people that have put those together. But I mean, it's going to come together in a form of tech that's going to be at some point. It's going to be reasonable for people to buy. And
Excuse me.
when that happens, the mainstream will start to understand a little more.
Yeah.
When you're having that real time, somebody has that ancestor that passed, and they can ask a question and get a direct answer. Which we've all experienced that, but when it's just anybody who doesn't have any experience in paranormal starts having that happen, it's it's going to be an awakening for society, for mankind, I think, and hopefully kind of make us realize there's more to this than what we're experiencing at this moment. So maybe we need to think about what's going on for the next life and not so much so petty for what's going on right now. I'll get to that.
House phone ringing.
Well, I like my flashlight, but that was my duty flashlight, Anthony. All those years that I was on the ambulance, it was always with me.
We
And-
have.
yeah.
I'm sorry. I was just
No,
going to
you're
say,
fine.
sorry, Matt had to take the call. My mother's best friend's husband just had surgery, so we're getting an update. So sorry about that. I didn't know the phone was in here.
problem. Life comes first. Family comes first. That's what I always say.
Well,
The
thank
dad's always going to be there waiting for us.
Here he is. He's back.
So when you say the flashlights,
Yeah, we love flashlights. I'm
big
sorry,
mag
Gwen.
lights on the dome that you used to use, or the
It's
mags.
it's not the teeny one. It's the
The C battery one.
no, this one is
Double A.
two AA. Yeah, it's just the regular.
Okay.
But I had it all those years. I wore it on my little duty belt, and
Mag lights have a lifetime warranty. I've got
Yeah.
one that's fritzing out, so I'm going to get me a new
You know,
one.
there's extra light in bulb in there.
there is, yes,
Yeah.
there is. But I've had that one. Honestly, I had it with me since the '90s, early '90s.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
You have to have those things.
yeah, and it's been through all those calls, all those experiences, and everything. And sometimes I believe that it draws a little bit of something with it. I do.
Do you use one light or use more?
Boom.
We usually have more than one around.
Mhm.
Mm,
Yeah, here it is.
okay.
Yeah, just a regular little size.
Yeah. I got a bunch of those because I get different color ones.
Yeah.
So I put the 3 down, and then you go yes or no answers, and so you intelligent. You hit the middle one. Silver one, hit the gold one, hit the blue one, or the black, and you could actually see if there's intelligence behind that.
Yeah.
I'm going to put letters so that they can spell out letters.
Yeah,
That would
That'd
be
be cool.
that'd be cool. But with
I
the
prefer the
night
low
lights-
tech. I prefer low tech stuff, and these guys prefer the high tech.
Now I
Or
like
balance. A
my
good yin yang.
favorite is actually besides the flashlight is a candle. I do
Yeah.
because I get
Mhm.
the craziest stuff at my house, and
Really?
I'm not ghost hunting. I'm just because I like candles and it'll go crazy. I've sent videos to the group and it's crazy. It really is.
I mean, candles are.
Yeah.
I mean, that could be a piece of equipment too. Trigger
Yeah.
objects.
It is.
It's a trigger objects. I mean, some of these old places don't like you lighting candles in them. Some of the
Compasses,
investigations we go to.
Right.
And I don't blame 'em. Open flame. And some of these things are like tinder blocks.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine's
Well,
inside of a chimney, but you
Yeah.
still have to be very careful if you're going to use a candle. But
Mhm.
compasses, you can, like Matt was just saying.
Mhm.
I think that was one of the first. My first ghost hunting equipment was a flashlight that was my dad's.
Aw.
One of those Fisher Price recorders that had the little cassette tape in it.
Yeah.
I got it at a thrift store or something.
Mhm.
And my grandma's candle and just little
Aw.
things like that, and
Yeah.
dowsing rods.
I love my rods too. I do that. I love those.
Yeah.
I mean, low tech. Because when I first started, I was 13 years old.
Oh,
And 13 years old, you don't have much money. And I
Yeah.
grew up in a neighborhood that has 9 cemeteries.
oh.
Everybody in my audience might have heard this already. 9 cemeteries. I got a bunch of famous people there. Harry Houdini and
Oh
Mae
my
West
Lord.
and
Wow.
what's
If I
his
could
name?
just sit down with him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Houdini.
I mean, there's so much going on. So many famous people in these cemeteries around us, and that's how I started. Nobody believed me back. It was like 72. That's how long I've been doing it. I've been doing it 48 years now.
Yeah.
50,
Awesome.
no,
So-
something like that, 48 years. Something.
I
But
just want to throw out there, Laura's watching, Gwen, and she's saying to you, we should try that flashlight thing with yours and mine. Laura is the flashlight queen, Anthony.
Yes.
Yes.
Hey,
Yes.
Laura.
Yeah. She can
Yeah.
get them to work when nobody else can. So yes, we will do
Mhm.
that next investigation.
Yeah, do multiple ones so you can get
Yes.
yes or no. If you get a third one, even better. But that's how you get yes or no. Hit the one to right. Okay, for yes, right,
That would be
left,
fun.
no.
Yes.
And
We will
that's
be trying
you
it
can't get any
Sunday.
low tech than that on investigations.
That's going to be a lot clearer than having to time your questions,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good idea.
Yes or no,
Thank
and
you,
then
Anthony.
sometimes that's perfect.
Yeah.
Or it's like, is there something in the corner? Hit the right one, and
Yeah.
you could put your questions to get a light to come on. You tell them which light you want on, and that's perfect because that means they're responding to you.
So we get a lot down here in the South. We get a lot of spirit animals that come through, like people's
Correct.
pets, because pets are so endeared down here.
Mhm.
So we've got, I can't tell you how many investigations we've gone on where we've had cats that have come through and dogs that have come through.
Oh yeah.
Horses.
Yeah.
Had a horse in my face one.
That was so
time.
fun. Happened at the
So,
carriage house
At
that
the
we're
carriage
going
house
to.
that we're going to. Yeah. So it was
Wow.
pretty intense. I woke up with this horse.
Yeah, right here.
in my
And I was
face. I'm like,
asleep,
oh my Lord.
and he said, Lee. And I was like, what? Because he was all excited.
Just
He said,
blowing my hair back on my
listen.
face.
And all of a sudden I heard it, and only thing was missing. I felt like spit, like, how
Yeah,
they
yeah.
do. It was cold there, but there was nothing wet. And I said,
It was
Matt,
intense.
he said, you see what I'm saying? Listen. And we could hear his little footstep, the hooves.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I'm
I
so
don't think he liked
excited.
where we were at because
Uh-oh.
sometimes horses do that where they're not happy and you know, and
Mhm.
that's
It
what
might
this
have been
one
in
was
his
doing. So
spot.
we might have been
You
in his spot.
might have been in one of his spot that day.
But we had a really good. The class did a mock investigation, but we were at a good hotspot location that we were able to use, and we were doing just for class exercise. They were doing an investigation, and it was really cool because I was at the base station with the cameras, and I was looking back at it, and I could see these orbs moving in and out of the chairs.
I was out of town. I missed the whole
and
thing.
it was like weaving in and out of the chairs, right? And I'm like, I'm watching this, and then I see light break because they had a laser grid set up, and the lights breaking, and I'm like, that's an animal. That's a pet. That's some kind of animal that's in here. And I mentioned to them that there was on the radios. I said, hey, I'm seeing some kind of pet, some kind of animal spirit, and they started communicating with it, and it formed into a full body apparition on the cameras, and we got a great image of it. It was a kitty cat. It was a cat.
I was the lead investigator.
The orb was right in the middle of where its chest would have been, where its heart would be, and it was a great image for these guys.
Matt put it out there. I recorded it and I put it in their little group for the class, and Christy played it and slowed it down. Yeah, and you can see this little creature. Just you see I can see his ears and his little legs. It's just so sweet.
Yeah, it's great. Great.
I
You guys see a lot of that.
You want to hear something weird? Before I got on tonight, I was inside eating, and my wife and I was sitting on the couch. I was just watching the show. All of a sudden, I see a cat go by. I don't have any cat. My cat passed away last year.
Oh yeah, sorry to hear that.
But
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I mean, we had to put it down. She had cancer. But a cat walked by, but it wasn't my cat. It had black. It was black. My cat was gray and white. This had black and white. So it's like, and then now you're talking about cat spirits.
Yeah.
Maybe your cat's still with you, as we definitely have found them in many locations and many investigations.
If you go to my YouTube channel and go back to some of my older ones, you will see where we had the spirit of our little ghost cat Lucy in the floor, and the cat is making the K2 meter light up, and we're cooing with him, and you can just about see him.
I'll show you something about animals.
We got another question there. Oh, look. Oh, look.
Oh, cool.
About pets. And I was asked to write a story about it. And I wrote a story about my dog Cookie when I was a kid.
That's a sweet name.
Yeah. Well, I got it when I was like 2 years old. And the dog, the first thing it did was steal my Oreo cookies off my dish.
Uh-oh.
But back then, in the 60s, nobody knew about chocolate and the dogs,
Oh,
yeah.
So
make them poop a lot.
And the money for the book went to the Staten Island Hope Animals Rescue.
Oh,
okay.
Anthony.
But I have a story in it, and John Zaffis wrote the what do you call it? The introduction type of thing, and I mean it's Cano's in it, Brian Cano, Christian Cesare, and a bunch of people.
Oh, cool.
So this book, and there's a bunch of people in it that I'm not mentioning right now, but I mean, I believe in all that, and I had spirit experience with dogs and cats and everything through the years. It's people they dismiss animals.
Yeah.
And I never did and never will.
Yeah.
That's because they'll be around too. They're the family.
I know.
They're loved as much as anybody else in the house. Sometimes they love more than her.
Well, my dog came to me a few weeks ago. Yeah. My little Chihuahua that I had to put down like 2 years ago. She came to me. Yeah. And I saw her like full there, and I was like trying to calm myself, and I talked to her and offered her a treat and everything, and she was just like with the other dogs, and then she was gone. Yeah. But I got to see her for just a couple minutes.
I decided to put down my dog too because she can't.
Yeah.
Anthony.
Yeah, it was like back to back. My wife, she's still, she's still upset about. And we had a little Dodge Hound, mini Dodge Hound, and I could still hear walking up and down the halls. The one that I was doing the show, I heard scratching at the door, because she used to scratch the door and try to come in. going to
Oh.
shows and stuff like that, and I could hear her, with her nails coming down because I got a wooden floors, so you could hear the nails on the floors as they walk.
I know.
So
Merlin was like
they're
that.
always gonna be around. Your pets are always gonna be around.
I had a pet psychic on my show, and she told me, because I was really struggling over losing my service dog Merlin, and she said that little animals, that you love so dearly, their souls can actually splinter and can enter your new pet.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, if you ever have a situation where all of a sudden your little dog or cat starts behaving like your previous pet, the chances are they're both in there. It's not the whole spirit of your deceased pet. They're still able to be heard and walk around and stuff, but the little dogs are connecting their souls because they love you and they want to be with you.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a fit, and after we lost Merlin, we got Ginger. And she had some ways like Merlin, but not a lot. She's got a lot now. A lot.
Yeah.
I mean, it's something how the animals, come to you. Like my dog, we went to a shelter, and everybody was looking all the little puppies and everything. And my dog's a puppy also, the Dachshund. But she was like in the back of the cage, and nobody was really paying attention. So I'm like, I feel sorry for her. I said, let me have, check out the Dachshund. She came to me and she put her head on my shoulder.
Oh.
My wife goes, oh, look, she picked us. And I guess, yeah, she did.
Yes.
So
They did.
it's something how animals, take over, how they still come back. you
Yeah.
know? So what is a favorite place for ghost hunting, Anthony? Well, I guess is that David.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of your people.
It is.
Yeah, because he keeps on saying nice things about you guys. I figure. How much
He's
you
my
pay?
love.
Did you have to pay him off on that one, or they just
Just a little bit.
I'll pay you later, David.
so you're paying PayPal? Okay, but my favorite places, I got two. One is Hinsdale. That's up in Hinsdale, New York, and I had quite a few experiences there. I had a couple of my worst experience there. Because when we were doing investigation there, and he said my audience already heard this one, but there's an old carriage in there, like one of those 50 carriages from the 1950s.
Oh, yeah.
With the spring and everything of 60s, and it was in the corner of a room. And at that time, I had the 8mm cameras because there's nothing digital back then. So my camera was actually physically, you could hear it click off. So I said, how did that click off by itself? So I went up to it. I'm like, it was actually physically shut off. So I went to click it back on. The batteries are fine and everything. So I felt cold behind me. So I put my hand here on the side of me. And one of the guys that was across the room, he had a digital thermometer. And he shot it across. He goes, your temperature's going down. Actually, I was like, oh. But the carriage was there. So I figured metal, what's going to make it get cold? So I touched the metal. I touched the handle, of the carriage. And next thing I know, I'm seeing an image of a woman pouring fluid on top of a baby. She's all dressed in white and like all crazy looking. And I took my hand off, and before I took my hand off, I see a match being thrown into the crib and into the thing. So I ran out. Tears were coming down. I mean, I don't get emotional. So it was just like whatever happened. Tears were coming down. I'm like, what is going on? My brother comes out. He goes, "Oh, why'd you come back in? And we'll see what happens." So I went back in. I touched the carriage and actually seen the baby burnt.
Hmm.
That was like the worst image I ever seen with that. But I drew it, and I did that. I drew that back in 2017. Last year at the Gettysburg Bash, Dan from there, the owner of Hinsdale, his table was right next to mine. So I picked up the thing, and I said, Dan, look, this is a picture I drew about 17 years ago. And because I drew the carriage and the baby and everything, and the woman, so crazy hair and stuff. And he goes, that's what they seen. The people that donated that carriage to us actually was seeing a woman in white next to it. So they wanted to get rid of the carriage. So they gave it to us because they bought it on a estate sale. So they didn't know where it came from. So they gave it to us. And because it was said, and it said that people see a woman in white standing next to this carriage. And I drew it like 17 years before he even told me that. So, I mean, quite a few years later, I find out something like that. So, yeah, the Hinsdale house is pretty good. And someone at Shanley Hotel. If you guys ever come down this way, let us know and we'll try to get you in the Shanley Hotel.
Yeah.
I would love that.
The Shanley Hotel. We stayed there for the night. It's an awesome place. Oh, boy. Never disappoints. I've been going there quite a few years, and I never was disappointed in this place. So yeah, we'll get you into the Shanley Hotel. You come up this way. You know, Kelly and Tracy. Kelly's the owner, and Tracy's the manager.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Get you guys in there, and that'd be, that'd be a nice little trip for you guys.
It would be.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. No more questions here. Animals are incredible. Because I'm looking at Facebook users too, back and forth. The ones come on here as Facebook users, but I got all their names over here.
Laura is in our class.
Yes, she is.
And one of our group, actually. Yeah.
Do you have a Tommy Patrick?
No.
Okay. Because he makes.
Hey, Tommy.
Hey, Tommy.
Hey, Tommy.
Hey, Tommy.
Anthony.
Hey,
And,
Ron.
Anthony,
Hey, David.
The guy who gave me shirts on tonight, Anthony.
Hey, Anthony.
Hey, Anthony.
Guy I grew up with, Billy Manley. And
Billy
Carol.
Manley. How you doing?
What's up, Billy?
Yeah, it's up, guys. And Rosie. So I mean, anything you want to, if you want to put in the chat, anything that you want to advertise.
All right.
for
Well,
the classes and stuff like that.
yeah.
I mean,
I've got some books, Family Spirit. It's 4 generations
yeah, that's something. 4 generations.
Mhm.
of the supernatural
On
on
Look at my-
Amazon. I've also got, well, it didn't go. Something weird. This comment has failed to post. Okay, there must be something. Okay. Maybe I shouldn't have put Amazon.
PM me, Anthony. You
need
need me to
close
close it out. Oh, okay. No, that means to close me out tonight.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Well, that's your fella that you know.
Yeah. Like I
I know
said,
a
usually Maureen does this, and she's not here tonight. And
Yeah.
but we'll see what happens about closing out.
Okay.
Let's hang on, Bobby. Bobby has a show after us.
Oh,
He plays
okay.
music.
So
Yeah.
what we're going to be doing ghost hunting April the 16th, and I'm completely able to do it online as well as in person. We teach at Piedmont Technical College in Greenwood, South Carolina, but we can also go on Zoom and you could be part of the class just like if you were there.
Yep.
And then we can come and do a field trip near you.
Yep. As long as you're not in like Japan or something like that.
No.
So,
I we'll go there.
Oh, yeah,
We'll
well,
go there. Yeah.
Okay, expense? Sure.
So yeah. So
Yeah. And
we'll do everything we can to make sure it's an interactive experience for you as well.
absolutely.
you
And
know.
we'll have lots of things to do.
We've actually had some people that were a part of the investigations that we were doing, and they were going through evidence and able to do lives as we were doing investigations, and they actually caught a lot of things. So if you ever thought about doing that and you were like, well, don't know what kind of experience this is going to be, it actually can be a very good experience. You can get a lot from it. And you become part of, let me say it for you, but part of the family.
Yes,
part of the family.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
All right, so we've got the spirits of the carriage house in Aiken, South Carolina. It's not far from Greenwood, but they just did the reenactment of the Battle of Aiken, and we're going to be
Stirs up a lot of things.
It
whenever they do
really does. Civil War hospital, then it was a leprosy colony, then it became a carriage house. So it's full of a lot of energy and activity. So that's May the 11th, and it's just a ghost hunt. It's not a paracon, but we do have people that will be there that's, done paracons. And then May the 25th, we're doing a haunted cabin in the woods. Matt and I tried to have our 25th wedding anniversary out there. Big fail. Big fail.
Well, I mean, there
It
was a
made
lot
it
of things
interesting,
going on.
though.
Yeah.
I have a nickname for it, but I can't say it on here. I'm
So
sure.
there was 2 locked doors, and both of them ended up opening while we were there. So yeah, that was interesting.
Yep.
Very
Wow.
interesting.
One opened and the other one opened, and then we hear footsteps coming towards us. And yeah, it was interesting. So I'm very excited to see what we find out. And then the one in Virginia is the Dryden, Virginia, Spirits of Dryden, Virginia. And we're staying in a beautiful Victorian farmhouse. It's very simple. And I call that beautiful because it's just simple, elegant, but it is haunted. And we'll be staying there, investigating, going to Gap Cave, and then going over to the theater.
That's
Yeah.
And even if you decide you want to do something like this and you don't have the equipment and you're like, how can I investigate? I don't have all this equipment. We've got plenty of stuff. If you want to come out and you want to try it out and you want to experience it for yourself, come on out and try it out and experience it. We have seasoned investigators. We always make sure that safety is paramount, and we're going to make sure that you have you're going to have a good time.
And a boo buddy. You always have a boo buddy.
Always have your boo buddy.
Yeah, we'll have mentors with you. And we've got enough equipment. If you don't have any and this is your first go, we got you covered.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's great. When people, and then you can explain it to them. You can do everything, to show them the right way of using things. And that's what's perfect about investigations and these things,
Right now, we're just going to areas in our immediate area. We're working hard to go out a little further, and we've been looking towards Charleston and Savannah, but I think we might be looking more north. I think, but it's just going to take us some
New
time.
York? You coming up to New York?
New York.
Yeah.
Got to have some pasta.
You coming up to where the Yankees?
We got to get the weather right when we go out there, because we don't do the S word down here. We can't stand that.
No snow.
No.
No.
I'm cool with it.
I'm not. I had to train in it, and I've had to crawl around in it and live in it. I'm not fine with it. I don't like it. I don't want to be a part of it.
At the table.
So,
Where did
I
you
like it
train?
for a day.
Was it up here?
Yeah, it was up north. Yeah, it was. I went to a training up there when I did my basic training at Fort Knox. I saw the grass one time the first day I got there, and there was some form of snow or ice on the ground until I left, and I thought, I'm in hell. I can't do it. Hell is cold, not hot. So it was.
Yeah, when he called me, he said, "Oh, look, it just started snowing. It's so pretty."
Yeah, it wasn't like that. Yeah, after 11 weeks of being in that, I was like, I got to get out of here.
I gotta get out of here.
I got to see the green grass,
I try to avoid snow too.
They're asking for the Facebook page for yours.
Yep, I'm getting it right now.
Yeah, I try to avoid snow. That's why my place in PA, I lock up for the winter because they get like 5 feet of snow. And over here, I get dusting in Queens. We do get snow, but it's not as bad as it used to be. It's not
now. Laura is asking for us to talk about the Belmont. The Belmont is an incredible place.
What's that extra data?
I tried to send a link for the thing, but it made a mess.
It did.
Yeah. Data, 20, 30. You can put it on my Facebook thing.
Okay, I'll do that. I won't do it now.
Yeah,
I'll
you put it on
my.
you can put it on Anthony Simonelli or the Seekers Club. I think I have
Okay.
a member on the Seekers Club
Yeah.
Yeah.
site. And
Oh,
I'll
that's
also
cool.
put it on the Dimensions of the Supernatural
Okay,
site too.
so I'm going to claim this right now that we're going to get the South and the North together, and we're going to have some fun.
Yeah. that's
Okay,
right.
I don't know
Some-
when.
Some
And I
fried
don't know
chicken
how
and
many
cannolis.
donut boxes I'm going to have to sell,
Okay?
but I'm going to get there.
Yeah.
Yeah, the chicken and the cannolis.
There
That'd be
you
great.
go.
Yeah.
There
There
you
you
go.
go.
Yeah, I
Anthony,
always go
thank you
for
for
chicken.
having me on. Thank you for having us, actually. But
Yes, thank
Thank
you
you.
so
It's
much
been
for the
great.
invite.
I appreciate it. I
I got-
appreciate you guys coming on and everything, and talking. I think we had a good talk.
Oh,
Oh,
we
yeah.
had a
Yeah, I had a
blast. Would you mind if I ended with a Native American blessing? I do
No.
that on my show.
Go
I
ahead.
think this one's
It'd be fun.
pretty. So this one's beautiful. May the sun bring you energy by day, and may the moon softly restore you by night. May the rain wash away your worries, and may the breeze blow new strength into your being. May you walk gently through the world and know its beauty all the days of your life.
Yeah.
That's nice. That's nice.
nice. Thank you.
Before you leave, we got to do this. Wait a minute.
Hey, how you doing?
I love it. I love it.
Hey,
Oh,
how you
man.
doing? Hey,
You doing?
yeah, just so
love
weekly
it.
and stuff like that. So I guess I'm gonna say, you guys are good night. I'm
Good
gonna.
night.
Thank you.
This is Dimensions of the Supernatural. Like I forget my thing. This is the ending of the show now. This is Dimensions of the Supernatural. Maureen Kaczynski will be back next week. And I'll be here, Anthony Simonelli, as you can see. I just want to say you got to be safe out there. You want to look for ghosts. You don't want to be a ghost.
That's
right.
it. Stay safe.
So I'm
Don't
going to
forget
say
your buddy.
good night.
Ooh, buddy.
And don't go anywhere just yet.
Good night, guys.
Good night.
Good night. Oh, forget about it.
Goodbye.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank
Now-
you. Good